This is not an Ibanez. It's not an Ibanez. It's an Ibanez guitar. But to confuse things further, it's made in Japan, so I don't know how you'd say that with a Japanese accent. But if it's Latin, it's Ibanez. This is a guitar that is 1979 it was made. And it was made during the famous lawsuit time. Gibson Hummingbird guitars sued Ibanez and Suzuki. And Suzuki tried to get around it by putting a butterfly on rather than a hummingbird. And this guitar is, we can't see it, but it's, let's just see. It's a 360 BK, an F series. F means floral. And this guitar seems to have been in storage for a long time because a lot of things are going wrong with it. A lot of damage. These guitars are quite sought after. This one was owned by a professional Japanese artist, an older man, I believe, who died. And this has been sitting unused, as you can see, for many a long year. It has some issues in the paint, chips coming off. The gloss paint on this isn't particularly good. You see lots of little chips. I might be able to do something with them. If you look at the binding, I think it's actually a beautiful binding. Very, very nice indeed. And it works on both sides very well. Now, there's lots of rattling going around inside. And let's just look at the back. Oh, not sure what all the rattling is on the inside, but we'll soon find out. The neck is in pretty good shape. Tuners are woeful. We'll have to see what we can do with them. There's no, it says something there, and I just saw it. JC29 East Electric never to something. I can't, phone, there's a phone, right? So, might be the man's name and his address, which you can't see. Newton, that could be Newton Ards, and his postcode, BT something. If that's an 8, that is a Northern Ireland address. And never could be two. Anyway, I can't see. It's a hidden code from a ghost from the past. And whether that'll stay when I clean it, I don't know. I just spotted that itself. Let's look at the tail and see what the tail's like. And the rattling, it's a bit rusty. A score there. Because it's black, it's not the hardest to fix. Let's see what's... I'm going to cut the strings off. Oh yes, I remember what's inside. Right, I'll cut the strings off. We can have a good look inside. The owner gave me these to put on it if they fit, but he wants to keep the original saddle and the nut, but I'm not quite sure they will fit, so we'll see how we go along. Let's go inside the guitar. It looks like it might be interesting. That's going to have to be vacuumed and washed. Is that stinking? Don't know what that is there. What is that there? Trying to get it in focus there. There. Alright, that's the strut. Okay. Let's look at the top and see if we've got any movement in the struts. Let me just see. No, that's pretty solid. Yeah, that's pretty solid. The body's solid. But it's rank. It's stinking in there, love. And it's going to need a good clear out. What is that brown bar going across there? Is there a gap beneath it? Well, I got to clean it before I look. But there's a gap beneath this brown bar too, so as you can see, I'll have a, no, it's not, that's a shadow. I was looking at it as a shadow and I thought it was something else. Let's have a look at the front of the neck. Front of the guitar. Is there a mouse in there? Wouldn't surprise me. That's the serial number. L70, is that 179? Anyway, it's a 79, denotes the year of manufacture. And it all looks well, but it's going to need a good clean out. First thing to do is get this guitar clean. Taking off the tuning pegs was rather uncomplicated, except for the screws would not come out. They stayed in the wood no matter how much you turned them, which means the wood could be very damp and a bit rotten in there. But it'll dry off in my place for a while. There's a fix for that. It all looks very dirty at the moment, but I'm not sure what to do with these. I'm not sure whether they're going to be vinegar jode or not, but I'll play with them again when I finish taking off the rest of the bling and bits and pieces that I need to take off. All I'm going to do now is cleaning, and I'm going to use wipes, baby wipes. We've got no chemicals in them, but I want to see how we get along. The neck is very dirty, but I'm not going to clean that now. Georgie girl knows that I'm talking till the camera, so she's come along to be nosy. It's been shaved down. Let me check the neck on this. Oh, don't like it. Should be about there, but it's low. That means the string height's going to be high. But definitely not getting a neck job here in this. What I prefer to see is the neck reach being about there, but you can see there's a gap in there. Alright, okay, let's have a look at the neck, the truss rod. That's exactly the way I'd like a truss rod to be, with a little bit of an underbow. It's all stained and dirty. I'm complaining a lot, but not really. I'm just pointing out the problems. Scratch, 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 scratch. Right, okay. Now, the inside, I'm going to take a vacuum cleaner and go in the inside, so you won't want to hear that noise, so I'll come back to you when I've done that. Exciting stuff, cleaning a guitar, isn't it? This is enthralling viewing. I bet you're riveted to your screens. Okay, back when I vacuumed. I lied the first time, I'm going to vacuum now. Video, you have some problems with this guitar. As you can see, I cleaned it, but it's completely scratched and it's full of potholes and pit holes. Very much scratched. Somebody's used something rough to do it. I probably can make that look a lot prettier, but those are definitely scratches, okay? So, and there are scratches in there. Somebody's used something very rough to clean it at one stage, right? And there's some scuffs there. That's not also the problem. There's also a problem that your tuners, something has been eating at them, and it looks like it's just ate through the tuners and chipped off the lead or anything that's beneath them, completely destroying them. Also, one of your tuners is gold, and the rest have just completely lost all their gold tarnish, or gold and tarnished. They do work. We can put them back on, but spend 25 quid and get a set of gold ones would be much better, and we can keep them in the future. The last and final thing, which is not fun, is that your neck has sunk. Now, this straight edge, whenever this straight edge comes to the end, it should be sitting there about the top of the saddle. But when I put the straight edge on, it hits there. Now, the only way to cure something like that is to reset the neck, and it's not worth it on this guitar because you would do a lot more damage and reduce the price. So it would mean that you're going to have relatively high strings at the end, but you'll have good playability up there. Could have tried bringing the bridge down, but there's no room. That's sitting right on the guitar. So the neck has sunk. Unfortunately, that's the biggest issue. And it's going to mean you're going to have high strings at that end. Alright, okay. Just thought I'd bring you up to date with that. But I do think you should order some new tuners. I have these if you want them. 15 quid. I paid for them, I think, maybe a year or so ago. I don't know whether I still have them under my roof. But they're gold, what do you call it? Gold mother of pearl type things. And this is after half an hour buffing. Really could do with a complete respray on the front. Do you mind, Pussycat? We have a plan of action. Pussycat, get your bum out of the way. Pussycat, I need you to move. Now, if you see, I've blackened the air. Pussycat, get out of there. I've got a cup of water that I'm going to use for what I'm going to do next, and she's fascinated. What you see, I blackened the areas which are dented all over the place. I filled them in with black. I tried buffing them. I used a buffing machine on the scratches. Didn't work. What it did, it highlighted all the areas with white powder. Now, I'm not going to even think about putting super glue in all the holes because this is so thin and fine, and it's also got a bevel, a bend on it that way, that trying to use a razor blade to scrape it down is not going to work. And anyway, there's so many holes and scratches, it's impossible to do it within a certain decent timeline that we have to go for. But anyway, what I decided to do after buffing it and trying to get it shiny is I'm going to use 3000 grit sandpaper, and I've already done some, as you can see. You can see it's done. And I'm going to buff it down, the whole top. I'm going to buff down gently and make it a key, because what I'm going to do next is mask off this area and mask off that area, and not mask off that area, but I'm going to spray the whole top with gloss, even that area. It'll probably fill in some of the holes. It'll probably not, but it's a better option than leaving it or even buffing it, because it looked horrible. So what I'm doing now is just gently keying the surface really with this sandpaper, because all I want to do is get this keyed for the gloss. I did notice something that was concerning to me. I don't think I can show it to you there, but there, you see there, this part of the hole has all bent up. This is all sitting up. Everything below it's all well attached, and there's no, but it looks like this has been soaked or something and it's bent upwards. I'm not going to key this because that's just a print on top. Hello, Georgia girl. You know, the last thing I want you to do is to walk on it, because you bend the tape down. Okay. I'm going to prepare it, put it into the room, cover that with a sheet, and then spray it. And I'm not that worried about the sides, because I'm going to have to buff the sides anyway, and the stuff I put on will just buff off if any overspray. But I intend to spray it that way. Get to the middle, turn it around and spray it that way. So I'm going to do that in the daylight. Okay, see you later. Now, as you can see, I have changed my mind. I'm not going to spray over this because I cannot get a key on the plastic because I would rub off the transfer that's on it. So what I've done is I cut out a bit of paper which is slightly smaller than the plastic. The only reason I'm putting that paper on there is because I don't want this tape to take off any of the decal or the transfer that's on it. So what I intend to do is get a very sharp knife and slice in there just underneath the plastic, and then lift that paint away and then spray the whole guitar. I haven't decided what I'm doing there yet, but I decided it was too risky to paint over the transfer. And then I've also changed my mind about this side thing. I was going to leave it up and over so that overspray wouldn't go down it. But I don't like that idea now, so I'm going to actually take that all off and move it down flush. Let's get a knife and do this. If this is boring, am I going to, yeah, probably will fast forward this. I probably will fast forward it. Yes, do you mind getting your nose out of there? I'm sure you would not like it if this... Oh, that's it. Georgie goes bum in my face. Right, this is going into the spray booth, and it's going to be blocked off, and it's going to be sprayed now. Well, here you are. I have sprayed it with just lacquer over it. It has helped a bit. I'm just going to take this all off now and have a good, decent look at it. As I say, it helped a bit. I think when it gets really hard and dry, it might do with a bit of polishing compound, but I'm loath to do that because the little pits are still in it, the little holes. So you put polishing compound in there, it's going to stick in there. But you can see I'm not a shiny, glossy, but it's better than it was. Can you see it? Well, anyway, I don't know whether you can see it or not. But what the owner can do is he can spray things too. So what he can do when he gets home, and if he wants to, he can just give this a little buff with 3000 grit sandpaper and give it another little shiny, because I do see a bit of an orange peel finish there. But I did warn people, didn't I? That I'm not a great sprayer, but even at that, I don't have the facility for it. This is lying on a little bench in my back bedroom, so. And it's better, but is it anything like what I want it to be like? No. But it's better. It's the kind of mood I'm in. I'm already 3/4 of the way down the neck and I didn't record it. This kind of guitar is just like the Westfield Les Paul to me. It needs a neck reset. It needs this completely restripped and repainted. But it's not worth that kind of effort to do it. So I'm doing it, but I know it's not going to be, well, an older guitar is not going to be 100%. But I'm doing it, and you just know it's going to be average when it goes out as opposed to above average. How's that for modesty? It makes the work on the guitar seem a little bit fruitless. Although, yes, I'm saving a guitar, blah, 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 blah. Don't do what I do. Wear gloves. Oh crap, but it's looking pretty shiny, nice. So I'll stick the new, well, may have to drill, we'll see in a second. May have to drill new holes, but we'll see. They're here beside me. And I'm working cack-handed. The way the lefty people are called cack-handed people. So let's just see if they'll fit. And that goes that way. I know I don't have any drilling to do. Happy days. Happy days. And these are very good tuners. These are nice ones. I forget where I got them from, but they are nice tuners. They're not the world's most expensive, but they suit this sort of goldy flavored guitar. Thank goodness I like doing guitars. Wish I could play them better though, but that's beside the point. If I spent more time working on them, maybe I would. Maybe if I spent more time rehearsing, I might be better, but what for? Why would I want to be a good guitarist? Okay, tidy up the bench. Always a mess. Always a mess. Always tidying up. Always tidying up. Right. Goodbye. Come back to you later. Martin strings. And we're going to put one string on just to check the height. And if I feel that it's acceptable, I might put the rest on. Really depends. Going to try to use, oh, here's Georgie girl. I can't let you on top of the guitar, Georgie girl. Let me see. These are all very angled, and somebody wants me now. So they'll be very angled. So It'll be okay. Pause to see what's happening. Terrible that work takes preference over pleasure. This is called pleasure. And Georgie girl, I know you always take preference, so pause. Georgie girl needs cuddles. Third time lucky. I'm not even allowed to take a drink. Those are very, very angled. Those. They're angled like that. Very strange. Right, third time lucky. Georgia girl didn't really want to cuddle. She just wanted to annoy me. Excuse me, Georgia girl. Didn't you? I'm putting a lot of wounds on this E-string because I think I may have to take it off a couple of times. So I don't want to, I want to leave it just in case I need to break. It breaks at some stage and then I'll have more room to work with. But this is only to let me see what the neck angle is, the string height is, and I suspect it's going to be poor. I'll never put that many turns on to the rest of the strings. That much. Maybe the ratio of gears is very weak. Okay. It's not awful. It's not awful. This is right down at the very lowest it'll go. So I think I'll accept that. And just bring it up a bit. There's a neck. Because I know the neck is sunk. I want better. I'll tell you what I'll do. Maybe I'm depressing myself incorrectly because the action is not horrible. And I think the neck may need a bit of a tweak. This truss rod. Let's just feel this. No. Well, it might be a little bit loose. There's a little bit more of an underbow. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the strings on first before I worry about the neck underbow. And I'm going to accept whatever height is given me here. Good height at the top. Right. So fast forward, I'm putting the strings on. Okay, let's get this thing in tune. I'm still not confident yet that we're where we need to be. But I see something there that maybe explains why there's a bulge there. If you can see the strings, I don't think I can show you clearly, but all 6 strings are that way. Slightly, they're not outside the bounds of the fret, but they should be there. And that one is just a bit too far that way, just a touch. So it's possible the guitar has gone, the body has gone that way, but it's not affecting it as much as I thought it would be. Georgie wants a cuddle. You want so many cuddles these days. Okay, here we go. Oh, let me just check the neck again, because it had too much of an underbow for me, and it's got too much of an underbow for you. What I'll do now is I'll get it back up to proper tune, get it all cleaned up, and then I'll come back to you and play a little tune on it and let you hear it properly. Okay? Ciao. I just wanted to show you this. The new owner tells me that the old owner of this was a Japanese person, and I do suspect that, and he's dead. It's covered in tobacco stains. It's just covered in them, and when you rub at it, it all comes off in a deep yellow color, and it's not easy to get off either. So just wanted to show you that. Well, that turned out an awful lot better than I thought it would do. Action wise, it's excellent. Everything's nice and cleaned up now. On all sides, it's nice and shiny, and it's as shiny as it's going to get, put it like that. And it's all been done. Now the action is the thing that surprises me, because it has dropped, but the problem was there and not with the neck, the body crushing in a bit. But I've explained that earlier. But it does, the little gold pegs look nice too on it. But it does sound nice, and this idea of just spraying over the top, you can see it if you look closely, but it looks pretty good and it sounds excellent. Let's just check the tuning. But it does, it's an excellent sounding guitar. Sounds good, doesn't it? It's going home to daddy now. I think all that needed to be done was the strings replaced. Well, you saw what needed to be done. Total cost to me was about 30 quid with paint and what else? The tuners and things like that. But the owner, I think, should be quite happy with that. Goodbye.